Hello, I'm Dinomyke and welcome to my first video. Today's video is inspired by my daughter who loves dinosaurs. This is my first ecosystem playing Jurassic World Evolution 3. Admittingly, I'm not very good at island editing just yet, but this is my first attempt at making a cave, as well as littering a few big waterfalls around. We'll see more as the video continues, but I wanted to swarm this island with herbivores to ensure once the carnivores come to the island, they have plenty to play with. The dinosaur that will have the highest population will be the Gallimimus. We released lots and lots and lots of them. The Gallimimus' name means the chicken mimic. Standing about 20 feet long and almost 1,000 pounds, it lived about 70 million years ago during the Cretaceous period. The second herbivore that we released onto the island is the Parasaurolophus. Its name means the near-crested lizard, and standing about 30 feet long and weighing about 2 to 3 tons, it lived about 76 to 73 million years ago during the late Cretaceous period. At this point, I wanted to make sure that the Parasaurs and the Gallimimus had a fair chance at expanding their territories. As we get through the first full night on the island, I'm pleased to see that the Gallimimus have finally made their way to the river. The Parasaurs, on the other hand, are still kind of slowly making their way past the hatchery territory, but they shortly will make their way towards the river. I'm pleased with how quickly the herbivores are settling in, especially now that we have the Parasaurs laying eggs. While looking at the Dino Tracker map, I'm happy to see that we're already covering about half the island, although a lot of Gallimimus are still kind of clumped up in one spot near the bend in the river. The next herbivore that we're releasing onto the island is the Triceratops. Their name means the three-horned face. It's another dinosaur that lived about 68 to 66 million years ago, which were found in western North America. 30 feet long and weighed 6 to 12 tons. The dawn of a new day arrives to the island, bringing more life organically. The first batch of eggs have hatched, and they are parasaurs. Just look how adorable they are. I love the juvenile and parent interactions in this game. It just seems like it brings so much more life. Switching gears, I wanted to check in on the Triceratops to see how their expansion is going, and they are quite literally just Congo lining across the island. It's pretty funny. The next set of herbivores that we're releasing are a big one. This is the Diplodocus. Its name means the double beam, which is referring to its bones in the tail. It's a late Jurassic animal, which lived about 154 to 152 million years ago, found in western North America. It's about 26 meters, which is 79 to 85 feet long, weighing about 12 to 16 tons, which I guess is pretty light for its length. But it is among one of the longest dinosaurs ever discovered. After releasing the Diplodocus, we have our first fight on the island between two Triceratops to see who's going to be the alpha in their herd. Rather less a fight, more of a staring contest. Good job, 004. 003 blinked first. Next out of the hatchery came the Compsognathus, or Compies for short. Their name means elegant jaw. They lived about 150 million years ago in the late Jurassic period. They're about 1 meter long or 3 feet, about chicken-sized, weighing about 2 to 3 pounds. Now, these are some of my favorite dinosaurs lore-wise in the Jurassic Park series. Just look how adorable their interactions are. Checking the Dino Tracker map again, I'm seeing a very healthy spread in territory. Now I know they're all sticking close to the river, but I think it's time to release the next dinosaur. This next dinosaur is what started it all for my daughter. This is the Tyrannosaurus. This is her favorite dinosaur. Its name means the scythe lizard. It lived during the late Cretaceous period about 70 million years ago and is about 10 meters or 33 feet long, weighing about 3 to 5 tons. This animal had the largest and longest claws of any known animal. As we continue to rapid fire dinosaurs onto the island, I released the first flying reptile. This is not a dinosaur. This is the Quetzalcoatlus. It lived during the late Cretaceous period, 70 to 66 million years ago. It's airplane sized, about 36 feet long. It could stand as tall as a giraffe. And during the release of the second Quetzal, look, we got new Triceratops. another batch of eggs have hatched. And I just love the little skippity hops. Back to the Quetzals. So as you can see, I accidentally released them inside of a fishbowl-sized dome. That was really dumb of me. It took me an amount of time that I don't want to admit to figure out how to get them out of the dome and fly them over to a spot that I wanted them to claim as their territory. And yet again, interrupting my Quetzal rescue, we got more Triceratops hatching and more skippity hop-hops. As an apology to the Quetzals, I put a feeder right next to the nesting area because of the trauma that I put them through. And look, more Triceratops, which means more skippities. As life was flourishing on the island, it's now time to release the Baryonyx. Its name means the heavy claw. It lived during the early Cretaceous period, roughly 130 to 125 million years ago. And since the Baryonyx were going to bring life to the rivers, it's now time to release the land menace. The Velociraptor. The Velociraptor's name means swift thief, and they also lived during the late Cretaceous period about 75 million years ago. Now these guys are misrepresented in the Jurassic Park series as big 7-foot tall raptors. They're really not. They're actually only about 2 meters long, 6.5 feet, and only weighed about 30 pounds. And a menace they are. They are already fighting amongst each other to figure out who is going to be the alpha of the pack. Immediately after the fight amongst the Velociraptors, I helicoptered in a Spinosaurus. And my gosh, with that Quetzal flying in right next to it, you can see the size comparison between both, and it is impressive. As the Spinosaurus was roaming and expanding its territory, the Baryonyx were fighting to figure out who was going to be the alpha of their pack. Looks like 003 is the winner. While the Baryonyx are fighting, the Quetzal eggs have in fact hatched. And just off to the side of the Quetzal hatchlings, we have a gravity-defying Quetzal mother who is taking a nice nap at what looks to be a 60-degree angle. Now just at the bottom of the 3-layer waterfall that the Quetzals are nesting on top of, we have the pack of Baryonyx that are just now getting to the river, which is just in time because they are beginning to get low health due to needing water. Changing pace once again, I wanted to check in on the Tyrannosaurus, which is now promptly named after my daughter. I thought this thing was going to cause a little bit more havoc or mayhem, but honestly, it's just roaming out by itself in the middle of nowhere. There's only a few Gallimimus that have found its way around it. The closest predator to it is the Spinosaurus, which is here at the top of a waterfall, and it's not even interested. So with that being said, let's add some mayhem. It's time to add the Allosaurus into the mix. Its name means different lizard because of its unusual vertebrae. This is a late Jurassic dinosaur that lived about 155 to 150 million years ago, found in North America. It was about 26 to 39 feet long and weighed about 2 tons. The first Triceratops non-staring contest to see who is going to be the alpha of the herd. Perhaps I'm stressing them out because every time I release a carnivore onto the island, they seem to fight. But at least this time we get some action. Once. Perhaps I'll stress them out a little bit more because this time I'm releasing the Carnotaurus. Their name means the meat-eating bull, another late Cretaceous dinosaur that lived about 72 to 69 million years ago. Found in Argentina, about up to 30 feet long and weighed about 2 tons. Known for their 2 thick horns above the eyes. The large influx of carnivores is not deterring the herbivores from expanding their population. We now have new Diplodocus, but I wasn't going to be deterred either. This dinosaur needs no introduction. But I'm going to introduce it anyway. This is the Tyrannosaurus Rex. Its name means the Tyrant Lizard King, another late Cretaceous dinosaur that lived about 68 to 66 million years ago, found in Western North America. It is about 43 feet long and stood as tall as 13 feet, weighing about 14 tons. And almost like clockwork, the Triceratops are at it again. Every single time I release a carnivore, they have a fight to see who is going to be the new alpha. This time, locking horns. Good job, 007. Making our way over to the Carnotaurus, we're having a staring contest to see who is going to be the new alpha, while there's a hyperactive ADHD one just doing laps. Maybe perhaps he just wants to be involved. After the staring contest was finished, the T-Rex decided to hunt down a Gallimimus. Look at the blood. Shifting gears over to the second T-Rex, they're also hunting a Gallimimus. Although it's not going as smooth as the first one. It's going just as smooth as my camera work trying to get a good angle of this hunt. Letting out as many cinematic roars as possible, it's now shifting gears to hunt a Diplodocus in a physics-defying manner. Yet another hunt failed. So I suppose the first T-Rex will show it how it's done. Oh, look at that. A few moments later, we got a Carnotaurus hunting down a Triceratops. Seems like the Triceratops got the first hit in, and it could be fight over. Yep, we got some organ trauma. Likely not going to recover from that. We have a rare sighting of our Spinosaurus running a marathon hunting a Gallimimus. This is going to be a rare sighting in the video. And we have the T-Rex taking a fat chunk out of the leg of a Diplodocus and then just standing there awkwardly. Oh, we have a T-Rex fighting a Carnotaurus. Ooh, big bite on the head. And that is a Carnotaurus down. Yeah, you got to get that victory roar in. Now that the Velociraptors are done fighting over who's alpha, they are now starting to take down Gallimimus. Good thing we released a bunch of them onto the island. Continuing my plan to add more chaos onto the island, the next dinosaur we're releasing is two Giganotosaurus. Their name means giant southern lizard, another late Cretaceous animal that lived about 98 to 97 million years ago, found in Argentina, up to 43 feet long and weighed about 6 to 8 tons. This is very similar to the T-Rex, but maybe a little lighter. They are often said to be bigger than a T-Rex, but in reality they were very close in size, with the Giganotosaurus being longer, but a little thinner. And just proving my point yet again, every time we release a carnivore onto the island, a Triceratops picks a fight with something. And here it is picking a fight with a Carnotaurus. Oh. Carno gets the first hit in. Carno takes a hit from those horns. Fight over. Triceratops has a laceration. Can recover from this. Now we got the T-Rex continuing their mayhem, taking down a Parasaurus. You gotta love that victory roar. Immediately after taking down that Parasaurus, the T-Rex comes in contact with a Giganotosaurus. This one we named B. This is named after my wife. Her favorite dinosaur is the Giganotosaurus. The other one's name was Millsy. That's also my other YouTube channel name. And in typical fashion of B, she bites. Takes down the first T-Rex. Checking in on Millsy the Giganotosaurus, he's just staring awkwardly at the Diplodocus, realizing, hey, that's a lot of food right there. And just decides to throw him a rar. And walks away. Looks like this T-Rex is hunting down this Diplodocus here, playing the long game of just kind of injuring it until it goes down. And a Quetzal trying to split up the fight, but with no luck because the Diplodocus goes down with magic from the T-Rex. As if there wasn't enough chaos on the island, we now have the first hatchlings of Velociraptors. This is certainly going to add more chaos onto the island, with the Velociraptors not only protecting their young, but increasing their population. And indeed, there was more chaos. We have the Velociraptor hunting down a Parasaurus, and then we got Millsy the Giganotosaurus taking out a Gallimimus just feet away. And now we got the Quetzal also hunting down a Parasaurus. This definitely seems like a fight to see who can control the river. But that Quetzal hunting down that Parasaurus was one of the coolest things I've ever seen. Changing gears again, we got the Giganotosaurus fighting over the corpse of a Carnotaurus. Seems like Millsy probably asked B, hey, what do you want for dinner? And then she says, I don't know, whatever. And then Millsy suggested something and B said, no, I don't feel like that. I will say at least Millsy was able to win a fight in this game and become the alpha. Almost matching my wife's personality perfectly, after losing a fight with Millsy, decided to go scream at other things. In this case, it was every Triceratops on the island. After moving on from the Triceratops, she finds a Diplodocus, screaming at it relentlessly. This is her hunting tactic. Typically it comes with screaming and glaring. Oh, look at that glare. Ugh, gives me chills. More screaming. She screamed at the Diplodocus and it died. Remind me to never fight with her again. Shortly after B took out the Diplodocus, she then promptly moved on to the Triceratops. It really seems like there is a power struggle going over the river that runs to the center of the island, which I have named Central River. And just a few feet up the river, we have Millsy taking on a Tyrannosaurus Rex at the river bend. This is really showing the power grab that the Giganotosauruses are trying to take over the Central River here. Despite all the chaos that's occurring along the Central River, the Gallimimus have still managed to have hatchlings along the river, so there is a safe pocket that the Gallimimus have found. Unfortunately, the Velociraptors are very close nearby. And off near the hatchery in the aviary, while the eggs were hatching, a T-Rex managed to fatally take down a Diplodocus. With only 2 T-Rexes remaining, the Giganotosauruses seem to not have any sort of competition over the river. They just seem to be taking out every single T-Rex they come across. Now there's only 1 remaining. Seems like the Quetzals are not quite satisfied with just only eating fish, as they keep seeming to take down the Parasaurs. Perhaps he's showing his young how to hunt the Parasaurs. Checking in on my daughter's favorite dinosaur, the Tyrannosaurus. Well, it's still out fairly isolated, doing its own thing, and there, of course, is the Spinosaurus lurking nearby, but still not interested whatsoever. The Spinosaurus seems very content just finding deep pockets of water within the river system, eating up the fish. Occasionally when he gets bored of the fish, just maybe finding a Gallimimus that's lurking a little too close. But nonetheless, these are two very uneventful dinosaurs that are within this ecosystem right now. Moving back to the chaos along the Central River, just up the hill a little bit, we got a couple velociraptors taking down a parasaurus. The parasaurs are really starting to have their population diminish. There's really not many of them left. Speaking of the parasaur diminishing population, we got Millsy here hunting down another parasaurus. And just off in the distance, we got B taking down another one. There's really just a handful of them left. And we got a T-Rex taking on a Carnotaurus. And taking out the T-Rex. Wow. Checking back in on the Tyrannosaurus, it's still out and isolated and just wandering around doing nothing. It's been a while since we checked in on the Allosaurus, but they have been pushed down a little south due to the Giganotosaurus and T-Rex, but they're pretty content just doing what they do, hunting Gallimimus and staying out of the larger predators' way for now. Our final T-Rex, who is injured, managed to wander off a little too far south into the Baryonyx and Allosaurus territory. Picked a fight with the wrong Baryonyx, and that's the final T-Rex. Seems like B, the Giganotosaurus, is still kind of learning how to hunt. You got some random failures, but she still screams at her prey. But practice makes perfect, and she manages to take down this Parasaurus right here. What a victory roar. We have the Quetzalcoatlus up here, just minding their own business, eating out of their own feeder. Gotta love those animations. As we travel down the actual Central River, we're gonna come across Millsy, the Giganotosaurus, fighting with an Allosaurus. Millsy's finally starting to wander a little further south into the Allosaurus territory. You got the Allosaurus pack trying to give moral support. Looks like the Allosaurus got hurt, and yet more Triceratops, more skippity hip hops. Peyton the Tyrannosaurus has to just be loving life finding this little cove. But it's time to add one more piece of chaos into the mix, the Indominus Rex. The Giganotosaurus are just running rampant along the river, having no competition whatsoever. I figured it was time to add the Indominus Rex into the mix. This is our first and only hybrid dinosaur that will be in this ecosystem. Its name meaning is the Untamable King. It's not from any period because this is in fact a fake dinosaur, but it includes DNA from the T-Rex, Velociraptor, Carnotaurus, Tyrannosaurus, Giganotosaurus, Cuttlefish for camouflage abilities, and the tree frog for thermal regulation and heat masking. As you can see right out of the gate, it's just killing everything that it sees. It's just a matter of time before it comes in contact with some of the other apex predators on the island. And speaking of apex predators, we have Millsy and B fighting yet again over who is going to be the alpha of their small pack. Millsy wins yet again. If only I was this lucky in real life. This time we have a Quetzal hunting down a Gallimimus, and it just straight up lifts it into the air and then drops it down to the ground. These hunting animations are incredible. Just down the hill a little bit from that previous hunt, we have the Indominus Rex having a staring contest with the river. After winning his staring contest against the river, he then decides to take down a Triceratops to celebrate. Then moves on to a Diplodocus. Much like the T-Rex, the Diplodocus are now extinct. Checking in on the Tyrannosaurus again. Well, it's just doing what the Tyrannosaurus does. Relaxation. And, of course, the Spinosaurus close behind. Coming back to the Indominus Rex, it has now ventured into baryonyx territory. And my gosh, maybe there is some Harry Potter DNA in there as well, because he doesn't even need to look at it to take it down. Now moving on, Millsy is now picking a fight with an Allosaurus, and this is the same Allosaurus that took out that final T-Rex. The Allosaurus gets the first hit in. Millsy manages to get in a pretty good hit. Ooh. That's going to be tough to recover from. That is a major injury, and Millsy is likely not going to recover from that. Spinosaurus lurking in the background as B is now finally met up with Millsy. They stopped fighting. This is going to be Millsy's last night as he goes down for his long nap. B decides to lay down next to him. And that is the end for Millsy. Peyton the Tyrannosaurus is not too far away. B is just staring off into nothingness, perhaps thinking about the trauma that she just went through, or perhaps about potential redemption, as she is the final Giganotosaurus. And the Indominus Rex is approaching closer and closer. And now they finally meet in Central River. Can this be the fight that redeems Millsy? Oh, the Indominus Rex takes down the final Giganotosaurus in one fell swoop. Now, I couldn't possibly end this video without the Tyrannosaurus getting into at least one fight. My daughter would just be way too upset if she didn't get to see her favorite dinosaur fight in this video. But after 2 long hours of waiting for the Tyrannosaurus and the Indominus Rex to cross paths, it finally happened. Can the Tyrannosaurus redeem the Giganotosaurus, or is the Indominus Rex just too much for the Tyrannosaurus to handle? The fight is initiated, the claws are extended. The Indominus Rex charges towards the Tyrannosaurus. Let the fight begin. And well, I guess that's it. Not as climactic as I was hoping, and I waited about 2 hours for them to cross paths for that. In this ecosystem, the Indominus Rex reigned supreme. Please consider liking this video and subscribing, and until the next ecosystem, Dinomyke out.